Hello, welcome to Cat Mama Tarot. Thanks so much for being here with me today. Got a little different background going on today. I decided to do this in my living room instead of my little office space. So you can see Lola's in the background there. And yeah, today we are going to do a weekend reading by sign. So I'm going to go through each sign of the zodiac. I'm going to just pull two cards, an oracle card and a tarot card, and see what messages we have for you for the weekend. It's a little quick and dirty for each sign. Timestamps are below. I think I figured out, well, I don't know what the problem was with the weekly reading, but I think my timestamps were working for our midweek check-in. So hopefully that's the case. Anyway, did I say thank you for being here? I really appreciate you choosing to spend your time with me. So it's worth repeating if I already said it. Okay, let's get started. Starting with Aries. What do Aries need to know for this weekend? What messages do we have for Aries this weekend, please? All right, we've got butterfly spirit transformation and almost. All right, well, I'm going to get those later because we got one here. And we've got, what do we have? The Three of Swords. Okay. Well, this message is pretty clear to me. You've got butterfly spirit transformation and the Three of Swords, which to me, I mean, it can be heartbreak, betrayal, things like that. But I choose to see the Three of Swords, and especially, and really any cards that have any kind of negative connotation, I really see that as an opportunity, or like you're ready and able to actually deal with whatever it is. So I see them as positives in that you are, rather than being in a state of betrayal or disappointment or heartache or wounding, I see the Three of Swords as really about healing that wounding, healing from that betrayal, from that heartache. And the butterfly here with transformation is encouraging you to pull those swords out of your heart and do the necessary healing for your own transformation so that you can move beyond whatever this is for you. Everybody, it's going to be different for everybody, and move on to a new beginning, right? Yeah. So that's what I've got for you, Aries. I hope that's helpful. Next, we have Taurus. Let's see what messages we have for Taurus for this weekend. And I guess I didn't mention the dates, but it'll be in the description or in the subject. The title, whatever. All right, what messages do we have for Taurus, please? All righty. We've got purification, pine spirit. Oh, I didn't notice the number for Aries. This is number 30. I'll get to the message in a second. Let me just get the second card here. And the Page of Wands, the Princess of Wands in this particular deck. So what I was going to say is 30 breaks down to a 3, which to me signifies support. So you have support right now, spiritual support, human support, animal support, for this process of purification. And what this is telling me here is that what is meant by purification is really purifying the mind, freeing the mind from any toxicity, purifying the mind of any limiting beliefs, old programming, negative thinking, anything that's getting in the way of your creativity, of following your inspiration, of following your passion, of pursuing some kind of creative endeavor. So you're being called to really notice any negative thoughts or any kind of thoughts that are ultimately negative and getting in your way, and so that you can move away from that. You can quiet the mind. You can release those old stories, that old negativity, those old limiting beliefs, and instead focus on, right? See, she's turned towards where she wants to go. She's facing what it is. She's facing the direction that she wants to move in, right? And that direction is following that spark of inspiration, moving in the direction of what excites you. So that's what I've got for you, Taurus. Hope that's helpful. Have a great weekend. All right, next we have Gemini. What messages do we have for Gemini this weekend? Passage, Standing Stones, number 40. Whoop. And King of Swords. Authority, it says. So Standing Stones passage, this is 40, card number 40, which breaks down to a 4, which speaks to stability, right? And the passage that will lead you to stability is going to be, well, you're being encouraged to navigate that passage through logic and rational thinking, but also connecting to spiritual guidance. That's the King of Swords is definitely connected to spiritual guidance. And the King of Swords also sees the big picture, sees the bigger picture of whatever situation they're facing. So, oh, one more thing about the King of Swords. They are the master of the suit of swords. I keep trying to find the right. I feel like I'm cockeyed here. Maybe you feel like you're cockeyed, Gemini. So never fear, don't worry. You have the ability to get through this passage, right? Or go through these, I want to say obstacles, right? Navigate any obstacles that might be before you, finding that passageway. And you're going to do so through logical, rational thinking, through excellent communication, through getting all the information you need, and through seeing the bigger picture. All right, that's what I've got for you, Gemini. I hope that's helpful. Hope you have a great weekend. Next is Cancer. Whoops, I'm starting with the wrong deck. What messages do we have for Cancer, please, for this weekend? Raven Spirit, Truth, number 32. And I think Aeries also had the 3 of Swords here. So what I was hearing when I was looking at this card is the truth will set you free. The truth will set you free from any heartache, from any wounding, from any pain from the past. Okay, so Cancer, you're being encouraged to really look at the truth of the situation. Look at your own truth of like who you are and what you want to be and where you want to go, and really like how can you become more authentic to your truth? How can you become more true to yourself? By doing so, by really getting into your own truth and figuring out what that looks like for you, it will help you to pull these swords out of your heart, to do the necessary healing that will help you move on from the past and release and let go of any past wounding, any past pain, any past disappointments, any past betrayals. All right, that's what I've got for you, Cancer. I hope that's helpful. I hope you have a great weekend. Next we have Leo. Let's see what messages we have for our Leos. We have toadstools, growth, number 44, master number. And we have the Ace of Cups, love. So as I was looking at this card, what came to mind is that growth is not always a pretty process, right? It's not always beautiful. And yet, at the same time, it is beautiful, even in its kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, even if it's not kind of like our typical ideas or kind of this societal standard of beauty, right? Like somebody who has kind of things growing out of her, it wouldn't necessarily be considered beautiful according to kind of societal norms or whatever. And yet when we look at this person, there is a beauty to this growth, right? There is a beauty to kind of the ugliness of growth, right? And, you know, as we're growing, like think about a teenager going through those growth spurts, right? That, like, sometimes they look really gawky initially, right? They kind of grow beyond themselves and then they kind of grow into themselves. So, oh, that's interesting. So maybe you're in a process, Leos, of kind of growing beyond yourself, but growing into that version of yourself. And what's required here for this growth to really, you know, to embrace this growth and to achieve this growth and grow into yourself, grow into this new and improved version of yourself, is love, self-love, self-care, filling your cup, really taking care of yourself and loving yourself through the process. All right, that's what I've got for you, Leo. I hope that's helpful. Have a great weekend. All right, Virgos, you're next. What messages do we have for Virgos this weekend, please? What messages do we have for our Virgos? Energy, fire spirit, number 17. And the Emperor. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so as I was looking at this fire spirit energy card, I heard the words lightning in a bottle. And a 17 breaks down to an 8, and 8s are about movement. And so maybe it is time to release this lightning in a bottle and really move that energy and apply it to something this weekend, Virgos. So, and then I think the Emperor here only reiterates that message, because the Emperor is divine masculine, right? And that is about being proactive and taking action and building and creating what it is that you want, right? Taking action towards what you want, taking the lead in your life and making bleep happen. So yeah, so you're really being called to take action this weekend, Virgo, to let that lightning out of the bottle and move forward with something. Take action towards something. Be proactive and apply that energy towards what it is that you want. Ooh, love it. All right, Virgo, I hope that was helpful. Have a great weekend. All right, Libras. What do we have for our Libras this weekend? What messages do we have for Libra? All right. Oh, no. Just one. Everybody guessed just one oracle card and one tarot card for this weekend message. Okay, here we go. Oh, I love it. Hummingbird Spirit, Joy, number 22, another master number. Beautiful. And the Moon. Okay. Well, you're definitely being encouraged to find joy this weekend in whatever you do. The moon can speak to things that are unknown, right? To not being able to kind of see clearly what lies ahead. And so the moon can bring up some fear sometimes. And really the way to navigate any unknowns that might, bring up fears is to really move yourself to a place of joy. So what kinds of things bring you joy, Libra? What kinds of things bring joy to your heart? That's what you want to focus on this weekend. You want to find the joy this weekend, despite anything that is kind of looming or feels that way, right? You want to shift out of any fear and really focus on finding some joy and spending time doing things that bring you joy. Spend time with people or animals or in places that bring you joy. Get out into nature, and kind of tune in to the joy and the beauty of nature. And if you see any hummingbirds this weekend, that's just a reminder. That's spirit reminding you to tap into your joy, right? Yeah. Beautiful. All right, Libras, I hope that was helpful. Have a great weekend. Okay, Scorpio. Let's see what messages we have for our Scorpios this weekend, please. What messages do we have for Scorpio? Knowledge, air spirit, numero uno. Interesting. And we have the Five of Wands, which it says competition. So it's really interesting when you look at this card. I don't know what, I can't quite see what those, oh, they're like bubbles. They're like gold bubbles floating up from this swan boat that this person is traveling in above the tree line. So the card is a number 1, which signifies a new beginning. And this new beginning is, what I'm hearing here, is going to build your knowledge in some way, but this knowledge is not coming from the earthly realm. It's coming from the spiritual realm, right? Like she is traveling, but it's also, the other thing that it's coming from, I'm being reminded of the swan in the, I can't remember, I always forget if it's spirit animal or animal spirit oracle deck, that where the guidance is to take a deep dive. So you're being encouraged to go deep and tap into spiritual knowledge, right? It's kind of like tuning into yourself in order to tune in to the messages of spirit. And this is going to help you when you're facing any kind of challenges this weekend, because the Five of Wands can speak to challenges that we face. It can speak to competition, right? So it can speak to challenges that are like, maybe it's a physical challenge. Maybe you're engaging in some kind of physical activity, some sport, some competitive sport. But really, I think it's, speaking more to the challenges that we experience that actually are, we can either see them as challenges, as obstacles, as barriers, or we can see them as opportunities for growth. And in order to see any challenges you face as opportunities for growth, we do need to take a deep dive and tap into and tune into our what's going on within us and how we can actually learn from the experience, while also connecting with spirit and see what kind of learning spirit can enlighten us with through these challenges. All right, that's what I've got for you, Scorpio. Oh, and I'm being reminded of the fact that Scorpios, you should love this. Well, I don't know if you love it, but Scorpios are known for going deep. So this is something that you know how to do. You know how to go deep. So you've got this, Scorpios. All right. I hope that was helpful, and I hope you have a great weekend, Scorpios. Next we have Sagittarius. What messages do we have for our Saggies this weekend, please? Gratitude. Bluebell Fairy, number 6. What other messages do we have for our Saggies, please? There we go. Oh, we also have the moon. I can't remember who else got the moon. Anyway, all right. So what I'm hearing here when I see this gratitude card is the need for an attitude of gratitude, Saggies. Yeah, 6s also make me think of balance. And so really, with the moon here, which can speak to things that are unknown, things kind of not seeing clearly what lies ahead of you, which can bring up fear at times, right? When we are facing unknowns or changes or things that, where we're kind of in the dark and things that are unfamiliar to us, it can bring up fears, right? And so you're being called to balance out any fears that might be coming up with gratitude, or really like navigating those fears by moving into gratitude. I'm noticing all of the lavender here at the bottom of the card. And so, essential oils, or, maybe you have actual lavender at hand, but I think latitude, maybe you're at a latitude where lavender grows abundantly, or maybe move to a different latitude. I don't know why that came up, but anyway, I think lavender might be helpful in helping you move to this place of gratitude, and the scent of lavender, or getting out into, maybe you can go to a lavender farm, I don't know, or getting out into nature and really taking in the aromas, right? I'm also thinking about like pine, but the different scents, tapping into your that sensory experience can help you get present and into a state of gratitude, especially like going out into nature. You can really see all that there is in nature to appreciate and be grateful for. You know, maybe you'll come across some animals, or different flora and fauna that can really help you rise above any fears that you might be experiencing as you're navigating anything unknown before you. All right, Saggies, that's what I've got for you. I hope that was helpful. Next we have our Capricorns. What messages do we have for my fellow Cappies for this weekend? What do our Cappies need to know for this weekend that would be helpful, please? We've got Pegasus transcending 28, which breaks down to a 10. All right, and we have the Four of Discs, which is actually Sun in Capricorn. It says stability here. You know, it's really interesting. This is actually the image on the box. Well, on the box. What am I saying? It's on the back of all the cards. Every time I look at this image, I think she's wearing a oh, what do you call it? Oh my God, I can't even think of the name. Like a head wrap. I always think that she's wearing a head wrap, and she's not. She's just got red hair. But what it's making me think of is that you, Cappies, you are going through an upscale? What is that? That's the word that came into my mind. You are going through a time when you're rising up. You're basically rising up, like it's reminding me of the Judgment card, to a new and improved version of yourself. You're rising up to become more authentic to who you are. And going back to this head wrap, what I'm getting from that is that it's important to kind of protect your mind in a way where you are protecting yourself from the intrusion of negative thoughts, or the intrusion of old stories, of old limiting beliefs, of any kinds of thoughts that that you've been working on releasing, right? But that kind of sometimes can kind of creep back in. But to really make sure that you're noticing if and when that happens, and protecting yourself from those disruptive, those destructive thoughts, okay? So that you can allow yourself to actually rise up and become this you 2.0, right? This new and improved version of yourself that's ultimately just more of who you ultimately are. And that's going to help you create stability in your life. That's going to help you feel a sense of stability. The more you can become even more authentic to yourself and to who you really are, the more stability you feel, the more yourself you feel, right? The more centered and grounded and stable within your person you become. And the other thing that the Four of Pentacles speaks to is that need to let go, to release what's not yours, right? To release and let go of anything that's not serving you, right? To release and let go of control, right? To be able to just kind of flow more readily with the way of things. That's only going to help you in this process. And it's a 10, right? So this is, you are reaching the end of a cycle here. So I hope that's helpful. That's what I've got for you. And I hope you have a fantastic weekend, Capricorns. Okay, Aquarius. You are next. What messages do we have for Aquarius for this weekend, please? Oh, just like, I think it was Libra, right? Who had joy. Another air sign shares the same message here, or same message for another air sign. Hummingbird spirit, joy, number 22, master number. What else do we have for our Aquarians this weekend? Love, Ace of Cups. I love it. All right, Aquarius, your message is pretty straightforward and simple. It's all about love. The way to bring more joy into your life is through love, especially, and really starting with yourself. So the Ace of Cups talks about the importance of filling our cup, of loving ourselves, of caring for ourselves. I'm hearing reparenting ourselves, showing ourselves the love that maybe we didn't get from those who were supposed to show us love growing up, right? Maybe there was conditional love that we experienced. That might not resonate for all of you, but that's the message coming through. So it's important to show yourself not only love, care, kindness, support, compassion, but really unconditional love for yourself, right? Accepting all of who you are, shadow and light. And that is the pathway to joy. And I love that we've got twos here, because Spirit is partnering with you in this process, right? So Spirit loves you unconditionally and is modeling for you that unconditional love. So show yourself some love this weekend, Aquarius, and find the joy in your heart. That's the message I've got for you this weekend. I hope that was helpful, and I hope you have a great weekend, Aquarius. All right, last but not least, we have Pisces. What message do we have for Pisces this weekend, please? What message do we have, or messages do we have for our Pisces this weekend? Ooh, wisdom, owl spirit, number 27. Breaks down to a 9. And we have the 7 of Swords. Okay, so the first thing I heard when I was looking at this wisdom card is I was noticing the wings that look very much like butterfly wings on this person's back. And so what I heard was the wisdom that comes with or from transformation, right? As we transform, as we go through endings and beginnings and changes, we come through that with new wisdom, right? We gain new insights about our lives and how we want to live our lives, and what's working for us and what's not working for us, what we want to release and let go of, and what we want to bring forward. The 7 of Swords has some different messages. The 7 of Swords can speak to ways in which we sabotage ourselves or deceive ourselves, right? And oftentimes that comes through negative thought patterns. It comes through limiting beliefs. It comes through thoughts of futility, like what's the point, what's the use, right? Like a sense of kind of cynicism about life and about what we have access to and what opportunities are available to us. So another side of the 7 of Swords is a more tactical approach, right? It's being clever and strategic and thinking about the best way to go about something, to get through something. Thinking about ways to do things, ways to do life that are different, that are unexpected, that are unique. So What I'm getting here is that you have been through, or you are going through, some major changes, major transformations, as we've been talking about. We're all going through changes, it seems, these days on different, and changes are happening at different levels, right? And so through these changes, you are gaining wisdom that can help you be strategic and tactical about how to move forward. It can help you see new and different ways to move forward through any challenges that you may be facing. And you are really being encouraged to tap into that wisdom and to really notice if any kinds of thoughts of futility or self-sabotaging types of thoughts are coming up, so that you can move away from that line of thinking and move more towards strategy and how you can be more strategic moving forward and apply that wisdom that you've gained through your experiences. Really think about what you've learned from your experiences and how you can apply that wisdom moving forward. Okay, Pisces, that's what I've got for you. I hope that was helpful. I'm wondering, because I just had a little gurgle in my throat, so that makes me think of the throat chakra and any blocks that might be coming up for you in speaking your truth and saying, articulating yourself in a way that's going to help you move forward. So just a little additional message there. Anyway, I hope that was helpful, Pisces. I hope you have a great weekend. That is what I've got for all of you today. I hope whatever message or messages that you tuned into were helpful and are going to help you have a wonderful weekend. I will be back on Monday for our sign-based weekly readings, a little longer readings for the week. And then I'll be doing a midweek check-in by element, and then another weekend reading by sign, little quick and dirties, next Friday or Saturday. So thank you again for taking the time to join me today, and I am sending you lots of love. I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and yeah, I will see you Monday. Take good care. Bye.